So I always say, and this goes into my comic book roots and knowledge. Anybody can identify this though. The Dark Knight trilogy is it is the most grounded. It is if you put Batman in the real world, right? It's not very comic booky. There's some comic book aspects. Obviously, it's based on a comic book character, but for the most part, they take a very tangible and plausible version of Batman and his villains.
Yep.
Like from the very beginning, you see like the League of Assassins. Like they're just people who just like they're extremists. But they think what they're doing is right,
Yep.
Kind of similar to, they're very similar to Thanos in the regard of like, oh, we got to burn down this entire thing for the better of Gotham, right?
Right.
And in the comics, they weren't the League of Assassins; they were the League of Shadows. And Ra's al Ghul, who was inevitably revealed to be played by Liam Neeson, fantastic casting. Oh my lord,
yes, so good as a villain.
I love him. He's great. And they don't do the whole thing of like, oh, if he dies, he can go into the Lazarus pit and just be revived. Like that was Ra's al Ghul's thing. It's like, oh, he just doesn't die. Like he just can't die.
Right.
Then you've got Scarecrow, who normally in the comics he's this guy with the Scarecrow mask and a hat and like literally dressed like a scarecrow and throws like fear bombs and all of this stuff. And they were like, well, he's just a doctor, and his toxin induces people's greatest fears. It is literally like a psychedelic drug that like destroys your mind. And he's just like a completely like realistic version of Scarecrow, and he's terrifying.
He's so terrifying.
Joker, just this crazy guy you don't know anything about who is just causing chaos. Harvey Dent, like, oh my god, what a great version of Two-Face. He didn't drop his face into a vat of acid and lose his mind. Same thing with Joker. He didn't like just like go crazy or whatever. Like he's just this dude who's just insane.
Yep.
And then you've got Bane, who's just this hulking assassin guy. He doesn't like inject crap into his veins or whatever. So anyway, you get the point. The entire franchise is meant to be grounded in reality, even from Batman's gadgets and whatnot. And that's what they mean from the tones and the themes as well. And so, like you said, with Batman Begins, it's very thematically heavy with fear.
Yep.
And like I would say each movie kind of has like an overarching theme. And they, man, God, I love that trilogy. I rewatched that trilogy over like right when COVID happened. It was like during technically our extended spring break.
Right.
That's funny. And
love that.
I remember like watching all three of them and just being so emotionally invested because, God, like, oh man, one thing I want to say about Christopher Nolan movies, he knows how to cast his characters. His I'll say he tends to use the same actors. He loves his Tom Hardy. He likes Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He likes Michael Caine. My God, he loves Michael Caine.
He loves himself some Michael Caine.
Michael Caine has been in every freaking Christopher Nolan movie
except
since
one.
Batman Begins.
He's not in Dunkirk.
He's not in Dunkirk. Well, he's not. I don't think he's in Memento or anything like that. So he's
right.
I thought he was in Dunkirk. That's okay.
Yeah, he's not in that one. But other than that, he's in everything since.
Is he going to be in Tenet?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's in
he
Tenet.
loves Michael Caine. He just loves him. But can you blame him? I mean, Michael Caine.
He's incredible.
Is so good. Like, no wonder Christopher Nolan's like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, you got it again.
Yeah. But he picks actors that fit the role perfectly. I mean, they are a seamless fit. Like, there's no better example to me than Dunkirk because probably the two main actors.
Harry Styles.
I'll say four-ish main actors, right? Harry Styles, another British actor that I literally can't remember his name.
I know who you're talking about. I know he's.
Let's put it this way: 3 of the 4 main actors in that movie, Tom Hardy aside, are people I cannot remember their name. And I only remember Harry Styles' name because of his music, not because of his acting.
So, Cillian Murphy also.
Cillian Murphy, he's in there. Minor role, though.
Yeah, the guy you're thinking of is Fionn Whitehead.
That's right.
He's a really, really good actor.
He is. He's a super good actor, and Nolan got eyes on him before like the mass public did, cast him in that movie, and he slayed it.
Yes.
Like, so good in that role. But if you were to put him in a more dynamic role, I don't know if he would have filled it out quite as well. Like, I don't think he's a Tom Hardy level actor or anything like that. But he picks actors that fit the roles that he's casting them for beautifully.
Right.
Such a good, and he's a great actor's director. He does a really good job about letting actors play in the script that he's given them. He's willing to let them go back and forth on dialogue. He's not like a Tarantino where it's like what I've written is the Bible. He's willing to work with people. He's very relaxed on set.
And I love directors like that, because like I think I was kind of not screaming through the void last week, but there's those parts where like you were talking about how you guys collabed on some films, and I remember like how Seth was saying that like, you know, he's not a very mean person, and he's not at all. And I remember you guys are talking about some projects that didn't get done, and it was like, well, you know, there was things that he wanted done his way, but there was also like he's a pretty flexible person, and I'm like, yeah, like we all had a very synchronous vision in what we wanted for the little ones that we did, and you guys were more than open to take in valid input. And when there was times that like I would say an idea, you're like, well, that probably doesn't fit as bad, and I was like, you know what, yeah, you're right, like that was not the great idea. We did what was in the best interest of the story and the short film, right? So I love that Christopher Nolan does that, because you can clearly see it shine through and let these actors kind of embody these characters into what they see,
right? But that's beautiful. He holds the respect of his actors in a way that they're not going to push him. You know, some directors don't have that presence on set that's like, oh my God, that is so-and-so. You know, like if you go on set with Christopher Nolan, this just doesn't happen. But everybody there is like, I'm working on a film with freaking Christopher Nolan. Like it's just such a badge of honor for everybody involved in the project. And there's hundreds and hundreds of people involved in making these movies come to reality.
Right.
He has that sway with everybody on set that's like, my God, I am in a frickin' Nolan movie. Yeah. This is incredible. I'll be bragging about this for the rest of my life. I'll tell my grandkids I worked in this Nolan movie. So he already has that. Yeah. And then, you know, his actors are not like, I'm going to change everything. They've got that whole respect with him to where if they sign on, then they know the movie's going to be good. They know they're going to be put in a position to quote unquote win. They're going to be put in a place where they can be their best self. And so it's just kind of like this, I know from reading and watching behind the scenes featurettes and stuff like that, like the environments on his sets are so positive, so upbeat. Everybody is super stoked to be there. And there's just kind of like this genuine respect for everybody there that, you know, like we're all in this together. There's a community feel, a big old family feel to his sets. Even though, you know, there's still things like he doesn't have chairs on sets. He wants everybody to be standing. There's like, there's some quirks, but I think everybody just kind of takes it. Like, you know, I equate it to Bill Belichick, the coach of the Patriots. He has got some rules, and it's not exactly the most fun place to play football. It's up in the cold in, you know, Massachusetts. It's kind of gross, but you go there knowing you're going to win because it's freaking Bill Belichick. He's perhaps the greatest coach ever. And it's similar to Nolan. Like, if you show up on his set to shoot his movie, you know you're going to win. Like, there's just nothing that can go wrong. All you have to do is buy into his vision. And he makes it really easy for you to do that. He doesn't make it difficult for you to see what he sees. And that's super incredible.